Good morning, everybody. If you listen closely to the bird sounds in the background, you're going to hear several different birds. That one's a red-shouldered hawk. There's also a cardinal, a tufted titmouse, I think is what they call it, and there's a crow out there somewhere. But the red-shouldered hawk, there's at least two of them because they're calling to each other. Anyway, so I'm sitting at Poppy's house in Brevard, North Carolina, on his back porch. As many of you know that are on my Facebook page, friends with me on Facebook, I lost my sweet cat Scratch yesterday. We came up to the mountains Friday evening, and when we left, he was a little snotty, which is kind of normal for him. We have to give him antibiotics ever so often to help clear that up, but nothing that seemed life-threatening at all. And yesterday morning, we got a call from our son, Will, and he said that Scratch was huddled down behind the cat tree, laying in his own poop and pee. And usually when cats lose their bladder control and that kind of thing, they're dying. Thank God Will was there. He took Scratch and cleaned him up real good, gave him a bath, and then took him to an emergency ER. The doctor there examined him and said he was kind of lethargic. She agreed with us on his symptoms. It shouldn't be anything life-threatening, and she gave him some medicines to help treat the symptoms, and then released him to go home with Will. And unfortunately, Scratch didn't make the car ride home. He was a sweetheart of a cat, so I thought I'd tell you a little bit of a story about him. It's going to be kind of brief. It's not going to encompass everything. Don't know if anybody would listen to the whole thing, but I'm doing this for my therapy as much as just telling my followers about this awesome little cat called Scratch. First of all, why do we call him Scratch? Well, he had, when I rescued him, one of his eyes, you could clearly see a scratch on the eye itself. And that's how he got his name. It's real simple. He wasn't a mean cat. Matter of fact, he was a feral. Rescued him and Boo together at a McDonald's parking lot. I trapped them, took them home, got them to my vet, took care of them, had them both neutered. They were ear-tipped because at the time I was living in an apartment above a garage, and I didn't think I could take on animals at that point in my life. I was living alone. So they were ear-tipped, and that's what you do with ferals. And the Humane Society told me that I needed to release them back where I found them. Well, that was in a McDonald's parking lot, and I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I knew they wouldn't survive. I actually ended up rescuing a third cat a little later on in that same parking lot, not too long after I rescued them. At any rate, I adopted out the third one, kept Scratch and Boo, and I couldn't touch them. Well, Boo was so little, he was easy to handle. Scratch was scared out of his mind, and it would run from me. And it was funny, one of the places I lived in Lincoln, there was a long hallway that come down to their litter boxes. They had to pass right by my desk to get to the litter box, and got to switch hands. Well, hands getting sore, arms getting sore. And Boo would walk between me and Scratch so Scratch could go to the litter box. He was so scared. And him and Boo were inseparable. They just loved each other and lay together. I mean, they were just bosom buddies. And so fast forward a few years, and I got married and moved in with my wife, and she had several cats already. She had actually adopted the other one that I had rescued with Boo and Scratch, and his name was Jinx. All three of them are black cats. And Scratch made this phenomenal transformation at her house. It's almost like he had switched bodies with another cat. He just became so trusting and loving, and he took up with Joe right away. And
You bud. Mr. Derp.
I thought he's going to be her cat. Well, again, fast forward a few more years, and Scratch took up with me. And he definitely became my baby. When I sat down, he was on my chest, purring loudly. He always wanted my attention, and particularly in the last few years, we've been living at the coast. He followed me around our house down there, begging for attention. He would often take his paw and paw at me if I wasn't touching him, just to get my attention. He had a loud purr. It had something to do with the congestion, but he purred louder than any cat I've ever heard. And he was just a sweetheart. He just was, and I'm gonna miss him greatly. I didn't expect him to die while we were gone, and had I known that this was going to be his last week, I wouldn't have left. I would have stayed home and been there for him. And that's, I guess, that's what's breaking my heart more than anything, is that I wasn't there with him. I wasn't there in his final moments to give him comfort the way he gave me comfort.
Oh my goodness.
Life won't be the same without him. I know a lot of people don't understand the attachment that people get with their animals, but I've always been an animal lover. I've had several great dogs and cats throughout my life. And I've had a few that I've had a special bond with. And Scratch is right up there at the top of that list of great animals that I've had a bond with. And I'm going to miss him. We've got 4 others. And of course, I love them each. And I'm going to take care of them best I can. But I'm going to miss my little buddy. Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Loss is just part of life. And God allows these things into our life for His reasons. And I just trust Him with Him. I'm glad that when it was His time to go, the Scratch didn't suffer long. Go miss Him.